Visit radioonfire.com/Vistaprint for $20 off today.
Another episode of Side of Shade.
Hey.
It's been I can't say
it's been a minute. It's been a long
time. It has been. We missed you all.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it was the weather.
It was a lot.
It was scheduled.
Because I feel like snow days wanted to come on Wednesdays.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah.
I mean, it's been a lot
going on. It's been a lot going on. Sorry, people.
Yes. But, tonight it's bittersweet though.
It's a season of change.
It is, but it's still bittersweet though.
Yes,
because change can be bittersweet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it's like something you have to do. Well, you don't have to do it, but you should do. And so,
just like with the temperature, it's bittersweet.
Yeah,
your ankles are out.
My ankles are out,
but it's
my
50.
leg. No, hold on. It's a couple things that's bittersweet.
Right.
Ankles are out, but my ankles are see through.
Your ankles are out, but your
ankles
sinuses
should not be
swollen.
out.
Your face is swollen because of your sinuses.
But it's like your ankles shouldn't be out. Like I like to make transitions.
I know.
I like to change over my closet. But the weather,
climate change is saying
not ready yet.
Right. And I get upset about that because once I see that first 70 degrees, 60,
can't trust it.
I know you can't trust it, but I already get into a mode when I'm like, you know what? That's it. Change the whole closet.
It can't trust like the Geico commercial. You got to be quicker than that.
You do have to be quicker. Because I was saying yesterday, I was thinking I was real cute, which I was cute, no doubt about it. But my legs was real white.
Yeah.
And the foundation is saying one thing.
And the
ankle. Glowing.
Look at this. And then my leg was saying, girl, you don't match.
You don't match.
Whatever beach your face was at, your legs didn't join you.
Yeah. Which then I was thinking do I need a different foundation? Because I thought about that too. I was like, maybe I need a different foundation.
Not yet.
No, lighter. Maybe something
lighter.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm thinking that.
But isn't that your regular foundation?
No, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I had it wrong. Because Kristen, do you hear
that area has been covered up all winter long. It got no sun.
Right.
So so that's what I'm saying. So maybe I need to think about that.
Because then you're gonna be walking around looking like the Walking Dead.
No, you won't look right.
No, I'm saying maybe I need to hear me out.
No, we are hearing
you.
We're hearing you.
We just don't agree.
Right.
I'm just saying something is not where it needs to be. Is what I'm as far as I'm.
Your vitamin D levels. It's okay. We're gonna get there.
Yeah. By the way, I'm supposed.
No.
Most people's vitamin D levels.
Everybody's vitamin D level.
And it ain't. Well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. So anyway, back to the topic at hand. So yes, it's been a while due to several different reasons, but I think we're like I said, bittersweet when it comes to change. Change gotta come at some point. You have to just make the decision of when that change is gonna happen.
Uh-huh.
And are you gonna fight it, or are you gonna let it have its way? Are you just gonna stop and let it just do what it's supposed to do? And so for us, we've been doing this. Been here on Radio on Fire for over a year now.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't even realize it was a year.
It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
I know. And so, and then, but we did this prior to that.
Right.
We did the Side of Shade podcast prior to coming here. So we've been doing this for some time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it's been, did you realize that it's been that long? Not just here, but I'm just saying in general. When we first came up with the idea.
Because it was so much fun. I don't feel like it's felt like that long.
Time.
Yeah. But with that, we had to come to some decision. It was when you had that phone call and it's like, hey girl, did you ever think, or did you kind of think about this?
We should talk about the show.
We should talk about the show. And And I know for me, it was always been fun. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what we enjoy doing, but it's because it's friends doing it.
Right.
So it started there. It's always been about the friendship. Yeah. And then the getting together and coming together and having a good time and just talking. Sometimes, talking real stuff, but then sometimes just talking shit.
Yeah, pretty much. With microphones.
Which is what we enjoy doing. And so we kind of had a conversation. We decided that, you know what, I think it's time. It's time we end the show and move on to some other things that each of us would like to do and pursue. And so we had to make the decision. Yeah. So that's what the change is, you all.
We've come to the end of the road.
Yeah, I know.
Don't sing it.
Please.
I'm not gonna sing it.
Oh, you're saying if you do that,
I'm not gonna sing it.
It's gonna end now.
Right. I'm gonna walk away.
But with that, then we thought about, like, what does that really mean? Sometimes when you come to the end of something, and how does that look like, and how can you make the transition? It may not always. Sometimes it's like some people just be ready to make a change. Like, that's it. I'm gone. Pack up everything, that's it, shut down everything. And sometimes prematurely. Right. And then sometimes then people do take it a little harder. And just because it's an adjustment. It's out of the normal, whatever you used to do. I don't know. How do you normally deal with change?
I think it depends on what kind of change it is. Because I'm for my personal life, we'll start there. Because I'm, per what you were saying about the changes, part of the conversation, what we were talking about, so we're all working on different individual projects. Mm-hmm. And it was really a matter of sort of how does everything fit into either your bigger picture? How does everything fit with time? And so I'm really thoughtful because I don't like to feel overwhelmed. I don't like to feel stressed unnecessarily. Like, we know stuff comes. So I'm okay with change because I know that it's inevitable. But when I'm making decisions, and even when I came to y'all to say, hey, like, let's talk about all this, it was in part because I knew what was going on in my personal life, right? Like, I know what I feel like just on a day-to-day basis, managing a full-time job and a part-time job, right? And so, and I know that for me, I want to expand, and I'm expanding my private practice. And so I knew that time-wise, that was going to I'm going to have to do some shuffling with other things. Right. It doesn't mean that I don't want to do those other things, but okay, I have to figure out, like, I see my life as a Tetris game, which is, old school, but like, that's literally how I've been thinking about my life for the past few months. Like, it's a Tetris game. How do I fit dating in? How do I fit jobs in? How do I fit socializing in? How do I fit sleep? How do I fit all these things in? And so I just when I think about change, I just approach it from, like, life is just an ongoing Tetris game. And sometimes you have to just move things around, and you may have to grieve something, but then other times it's just a matter of, okay, how do we adjust to whatever the new need is to create a new normal?
Right. How about you, sis?
That pretty much sums it up. Like, at the end of the day, you can't control what life throws at you, and you will have to adjust with what you're handed. Again, understanding what V is saying, by working multiple jobs and having 2018 be as life-changing as it was. So now 2019, I'm in the process of just trying to adjust to my new normal. So yeah, it plays a part in how you go about your day-to-day function. So I completely agree.
Yeah. And I just wonder, like, I feel like when you come up to change, I know for me, like, I don't really have a problem with change, because I'm one of those type of people that I do love to start over. I like always start anew. Like, that's just me. Like, every time it change, seasons change, when things, I'm good. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Throw it all away.
Not throw it all away. That's a good and bad thing.
I know. It is.
Right.
Wardrobe from last.
Right. But that's how I feel. And what happens is, and because I'm like that, which I have to catch myself, that sometimes I do throw away things that then I need again. But for me, it's a clearing out, and I don't care if. And sometimes I don't even remember.
Other people can use, like, don't throw it away. Consult your friends.
Because when are they going to get it? No. Because when are they going to come get it? See, that's the thing.
But if you send out an all points bulletin,
no.
I'm the first one that's like,
no, because I get in the mode. Right. I'm
just saying, like, when you send out an APB, and if it's something that we need, we show up.
No, I get it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I get it.
I'm just saying.
You're right. I don't normally include people in my change. I normally just make it happen. My husband come home, we moving. All right,
Right.
The
Everything is
boxes are
backed
packed.
up.
It's already over. You know, we'll be
Sign
on.
delete
I'll tell you what it is.
Right.
But that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Because he know when I call him in the middle of the day, be like, I was thinking about, whatever. He be like, so I'm like, so what you think? He like, so you want me? I'm in the middle of something like, you want me to tell you right now? I'm like, yeah.
Because you've thought about
because
it.
I thought it through already.
Because you're a Sagittarius and you're thoughtful, and that's what I'm saying. I'm also a Sagittarius. I'm thoughtful. We just have to bring people into our thought
I'm about to
process.
say, is it still
We don't-
thoughtful when it's like, I want this now?
Because we've
No,
already
because
thought
I've
about it, but
already
we
thought-
don't
and
bring
there's nothing
people
you can
in
really tell me that's going to change
because you
how I've already-
haven't brought anybody
I
in
don't bring people
to
in.
the thought process.
You're right. I would be the first to admit I do not bring people in the thought process. I just make it. That's why when the weather doesn't consult me on when the change with climate change,
When the
it's
weather
really,
doesn't consult me?
it's
I
messing me
know
up.
because you have
Because I've already
you've
made
made
the
the
shift.
decision.
I've made the shift already.
You said 70.
The 70, right? It's already it. That's it. Why?
It's
I'm sorry.
spring.
Tell me
Sound the
again why
horns
we
and
made
alarms.
corduroys. I'm
Because it's
confused.
actually not spring; it's snowing out.
It's
I'm just saying.
20
So
degrees
I don't really have a problem with change. I
Right.
have to sometimes slow myself down.
Yes,
Because I go into and I
Yes.
get when I'm gone. I'm
Yes.
already down the street.
yes.
So
get so worked up.
I do get worked up. So I have to be careful with that. But I think that when we had talked about even transitioning this, because I mean just for transparency, for me, I've been in school for the last forever.
We
I
almost
don't even know how
done.
to-
Right.
We almost
And I'll
done
be
though.
finished in December 2019.
Yes.
We'll be
Yeah,
finished.
the whole everybody in my
We'll
you're
be
right.
finished.
Everybody gonna be finished in December. And it's been such a struggle for
Yeah.
me because it's been so many ups and downs and twists and turns and crying nights and papers being missed, literally wiped out of my system because it
Yeah.
didn't say,
Yeah.
all of those things.
Yeah.
And
think
so,
about how good that's gonna feel when you walk across.
no,
that
it's going to
stage.
feel good when I walk across the stage,
Huh.
but it's like the whole process of it all.
Yeah.
And I think but I also have other things that I want to pursue. Like I want to write, I want to be an actress. There's other things I've always had brewing and stewing inside of me. And sometimes that change presents itself and we often hold ourselves back because fear of what the change is going to be. And so, like I said, as I mentioned, I'm not afraid of change, but sometimes I'm used to helping other folks change and get their things in order. But I'm not always comfortable with my change in that. Now, changing wardrobes and lipsticks and all that, that's one thing.
Right.
But I'm talking
Right.
about real change that's going to affect my
Yeah.
livelihood, that's going to affect things that are just a little more significant than my
Yeah.
nail color.
Yeah.
But I think that's exactly what you just said, that we focus so much on what is it entails to do the change that we often forget about that light at the end of the tunnel. Like, yes, the transition is not going to be fun. It's going to be painful. There's going to be some bumps in the road. It's going to be a process. It's going to be work. But like I was saying about with you graduating, all those nights of hard work and those papers that you had to write and those days when you just didn't want to do it, when you finally walk across that stage December 2019, it is going to be the greatest feeling ever because
I
you
feel like I'm gonna do a
know
cartwheel.
how much you
I gotta
work,
practice
how
that.
hard
You
you
totally
work,
should
what
do a
you put
cartwheel.
in it. And that's going to be, and you're going to have your cheerleaders, your village is going to be right behind you, cheering you on, and it's going to be the greatest feeling in the world. I feel
Absolutely.
like, and even when you get those moments of doubt, like that's why it's so important through your change to consult with your village and have them be a part of it, because I think we bring you back to reality. Like, yeah, this paper was hard, that test was hard, but you almost done. I tell you, every time you complain about a paper, that's one less paper you got to do. You so close. Like, we almost done. We almost through this. Keep pushing.
Right. Because it be times I be like, you know what? Why? That's it. I'm just going to
You said that several
I said-
times.
yes.
Why am I doing this?
Every week.
And
Why am I doing this?
And I had to bring this up, but I was looking at a video that Nipsey Hussle was talking, and he was saying about the constantly quitting. And it's like, you feel that way when you're going through something that just seems so challenging, so hard at the time. It's like you quit like so many times.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
throughout the process.
Absolutely.
Even throughout the change. You
Absolutely.
quit. Like, no, that's it. I gotta do it. This is what's comfortable. This is what feel good. But it's like you do have to keep pressing. And sometimes those things take you in different directions.
Absolutely.
But and then also we should probably talk about how the original thought behind even the podcast and the show where we kind of had some visions of what we thought we were going to do.
Right.
And sometimes, I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but sometimes you have these, you know, in the beginning where it's so new and so fresh, and you're like, okay, well, this is what we want to do. We got like 5 things. We're going to do this.
And everything is a great idea.
And everything is a great idea.
Yes.
And then it's like, but then when it comes to it, it's like, well, who going to carry it out? Because remember, I told you I had to write a paper.
That was even with the podcast.
Even with the
when
podcast.
we was like, oh, this is wonderful. Let's record it. And it was like,
wait,
who gonna upload this?
Right.
Who gonna do that?
Who gonna
actually
apply for
knows.
the subscriptions? Like, how we...
And it's like, and all the things that you know, and I feel like for the most part, the 3 of us are the type of people, if we're going to do something, we want to do it all the way, full out.
Yeah.
And we can't really commit to something all the way, then it was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where we came to.
And that's really, that was really the conversation, was that we really had to step back and, you know, we're deciding to be transparent, right? Because we had to really take a hard look at, okay, we had initially said we were going to do these things. Like you said, we were going to structure it this way. We're going to do these things. We start off real strong and then we fall off. Right. And so we're like, what is that about? Like, why are we not actually doing the things that we said we're going to do? And like, so then what are we doing this for? Right. Like, yes, we love getting together. We love socialize. Like we like having our pizza and our happy hour, whatever. And we like having these types of conversations. And we know that people enjoy the show. Right. But like, if we're not following through with what we actually said we were going to do, why is that?
Right.
And if it's because we really don't have the time to put in to doing it the way that we said we were going to do it, we need to take a look at that.
Yeah. And I think that was even when you brought it to me, I was like, oh, and then you got to think to yourself, like, was I kind of thinking this? And because you know, we have a love. I feel like we had the love for it because we enjoy doing it, right? But then I thought about kind of related that to in my profession. Like, you can have the love for something, or you can have the skill to do something. You could be great at something, but that doesn't then stop you from what your true purpose is. Because sometimes the purpose and what you're doing right now doesn't always match. And I think that sometimes, like, I know for me, I always felt like I would have to, in order, like, I knew there was other things that I wanted to do, but because this was my livelihood, I have to make sure that I'm, you know, am I giving it my all? And for me, I'm the type of person also that I'm constantly looking and seeking. And if you are that type of person, you can't really be in the moment. You can't really feel and like embrace and engage in what's happening to you today, because you're always seeking and always looking and always searching, trying to find out what the next thing is for you to do. And sometimes that hinders you from just being present, and enjoying it and taking in all of the fresh air, whatever that is that's bringing you the lessons, the skills, all of these things, because you're so focused on, I'm not gonna always be here. Or prime example, when we decided that we were moving, I was already, like, in my mind, I was already packed. I've been already looking. I have to slow myself down. Because, again, my husband will come home and like, what's the boxes for? I thought we were moving in 2 years. And he's like, there's 2 years.
2 years.
Like, I know, but I already found 5 places. And he's like, but they're not going to be available then. But I'm saying, but then I have an idea. And I'm just saying, that's how far I go down the road. And so, for me, it's like I have to slow myself down and just embrace and be engaged in where I am. And I think that even in that, you have to then figure out, even while you're there, is this where I'm supposed to be? So that's something I feel like, I don't know if that feels, if you feel like that, like it's challenging to try to be present, plan for the future, think about all of these things. For me, it becomes overwhelming because I just get so caught up.
I think it's in moments like that I have a pet peeve about wasting my time. And anybody who knows me knows, like, the worst thing you can do is say you're going to do something and don't do it, or say you're going to be somewhere and not be there. So my thing is, when I have those moments like that, when I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and jump ahead and plan for the future and just start moving, I feel like I got to step back and be like, well, what did this lesson teach me? Like, what did this moment, the time that I've invested in this, what did I learn from it? How did I grow from it? Because I can honestly say that even transitioning from the podcast and the group of women who we worked on that with, to transitioning to the Facebook Live and working with the 2 of you, like, I have grown tremendously from it. Like, I've learned so much throughout this journey and throughout this process. I've grown so much professionally throughout this process. Like, conversations that we've had live, I probably wouldn't have had privately, or, you know, an input that I've gotten from Facebook viewers and people who are watching. Like, those things have helped me grow. And how is that going to help me in the next transition and the next portion of my life? Like, the connections that I've made, the relationships that I've made, those people who know me a little bit better now that didn't know me as well before we started to do this live, like, how does that make me grow as a person, as a woman, and you know, things like that. So I think it's at those times when you change, you have to reflect on what you've learned so that your change doesn't go into you moving forward and making the same mistakes. So moving forward and still being in the same place. Because I think so often we get in our mind like, oh, we're going to change and I'm going to be so much better. Because if I ever see new year, new me all over again every beginning of the year, but it's like you still in the same place. You still the same person. You still think like you were thinking. Nothing about you has grown up. So I think those moments of like sitting down, writing it down, reflecting on these life changes that have brought me to this position, and am I mentally, physically, spiritually, or whatever, ready to move into that next transition of life?
No, I mean, and I appreciate that. Like when when you are able to take a step back, and I think that even if we think about when we all first met, however many years ago that was. I mean, just think of it, all the challenges that we all dealt with, the changes. The growths, the setbacks, the, hey, yay, we can ride. The successes, the failures, all of those things really brought us to this point to now be able to have a conversation and say, hey, girl, kind of not feeling it,
because we think about it, we were something like a whole hot ass mess up.
We were, because we couldn't, but
it's so funny, and like when you sincere, like
that's what I'm saying. When you look at what it was a lot going on. Everybody, and none of us are in the same place that we were.
Absolutely not.
Nah,
absolutely not.
None of us.
Whole hot ass mess.
Absolutely not.
And so that's the part I do, and I value that. You know what I mean? And you can recognize. I mean, honestly, you all had to pull me up when we had a conversation about changing, about where I was at. And think about that when you just going through the motion, you just going, you show up, you do this, you do that. And so you don't take a step back to say, hey, what am I feeling right now? What is this about? What's going on with me right now?
Yeah. Yeah, and the pull up was really about, it was a gentle pull up, because it was one of those things where it's like, I kept hearing you say, y'all have y'all things going on. I don't have anything going on. And I was like, but you're in school. Like, you're moving in a particular direction. Like, you actually do have some, and you have these like amazingly creative ideas. And over the years that we've spent getting to know each other and things like that, it was more or less like, I felt like Krista and I have had different, particularly in the past year or two, different trajectories, right? Where like I've sort of used both the podcast and here to work on talking about myself, because I knew, okay, when my book comes out, I'm going to be exposed and I'm going to have to go and talk about myself in a very public way. And so let me start practicing doing that. And so little by little by little, I used the platform that we had to do that. And so now when I have gone and been on panels or done talks for the book, I'm really comfortable.
I'm sorry, what book is that again?
Untangled, A Black Woman's Journey to Personal, Spiritual, and Sexual Freedom, available on Amazon.
Yes.
And so I've been
award-winning Amazon bestseller. Please
I've been more comfortable doing that because of this platform. And I feel like because Krista and I do have these side businesses that were initially like side hustles, but now they're like legit businesses where we're like expanding and we have ideas and we've got certifications and like, you know what I mean? Like stuff is blowing up. And I just felt like I want to see you have the same experience that we're having. So what you were just describing about being in the moment and experiencing what's happening right now, I want you to be able to feel what we're feeling. Right. And like, I know I necessarily can't speak for Kristen, but I see what Kristen is going through. And I see how her business is on a trajectory that initially was this sort of like, oh, this is something that I do on the side, but I love doing it. And it's like, no, even back years ago, we kept saying it's not a hustle. This is actually you're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. Right. And so I've even had to embrace, I'm a business owner. Right. This is not just something I do on the side. I have an actual business. And so for me, it was just, hey, I don't feel comfortable launching something separate, even as a group, if you haven't gotten your come up. Because I know what you have inside of you that you really want to do. I'd like to see you do that the way we did it.
Right. And that was really hard. like to hear, because it was, I think because, you know, especially since school is not really related
Right.
to what I want to do.
Right.
So that's why I feel so like, it's school.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not fun.
Right.
It's not. Like,
Right.
nothing about it is fun.
Yes.
I hate
It's a
school.
means. It's a means to an end. She said, "I hate the way it got close."
Just saying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like anything about it.
But you
And
work
it's
so
because
hard.
I
You
have
work
worked
so hard.
And it's teaching you a level of discipline. Like,
I don't
even when
want
you
it.
do branch into those areas where you like, say for instance, the acting does, like, you find the script and you want to do this, and if that script doesn't work out and you can't, you know, get to where you thought you should be at a certain amount of time, like, it teaches you the patience. Like, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Let me take my time. Let me truly, you know, perfect my craft.
I get what you're saying.
But I mean, even in that, like, everything happens for a reason. And,
I get
and even though it's not going towards the main goal, the big goal, the dream,
you know what I'm saying?
it kind of
Like,
is,
No, I
though.
do. No, I don't like that. So when I was getting my master's degree, it wasn't related to nothing I was doing.
Right.
You can't see my face. So I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier to get frustrated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, what is the grand scheme of things? Like,
Yeah.
how is this fitting in my picture? And,
Right.
and when you get frustrated, it's like, but it's not.
Right.
So I understand that. But however, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and when I walked across that stage, I just want to say glory. So
I know that's
hang in
right.
there.
I'm trying.
It speaks to your perseverance.
Right.
And like Kristen was saying, when times get hard and you lose focus, just remember when you were in school and how you regained it. And when you guys kind of doubt yourselves and then bring yourselves back to it, that's your process. I have a process.
Right.
We all have a process.
Right.
So when you say, I hate school or I'm going to quit this, that's your process.
Yeah.
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 So don't get upset about it, and it's good that you have them. So just welcome that as your process, and just know that, all right, I know I'm saying that, but this is where I'm going. This is what I have to do. So yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
I get it.
appreciate that. I mean, it's been one of those, and that's like at each stage of it. And because prior to this, getting into this particular program, I was in another program, and I think that's the part that got me off.
Yeah.
Because I was in the wrong program.
Right.
And being in the wrong program, then you just say, forget it, I quit everything.
Right.
You know, and then when you get a little light at the end, like saying like, okay, this is it,
Yeah.
maybe I'll do this. But then it also, and I think just what I shared with them was, for me, if I don't see that it is related to something that I'm currently doing,
Your
or
mission.
if it's something at my overall, then I don't find joy in it. And so, even though I know it's a process, I know these things, it can relate to this, and I know, see the lesson in this, I get all that. But mentally, like in my mind, it's like, if this doesn't apply to what my overall goal is, then I don't see the value. And that's the part I was missing. And so, now that I understand that, getting into this program, I can now see the value that it adds to my current job. It made it a little bit better. Like, it made me to be able to endure a little bit better, because I was just struggling with, I don't get it. Why am I doing this? What is this about? And then so sometimes I just feel like in life where things take you on these different paths and you think they're supposed to be one way, and it's not.
Right.
And so I had to adjust my thinking to say,
Right.
you know what, it may not be this particular way, but that's okay.
Right.
And it's when you are a type of person who's always feel like you're playing catch up, just in life in general,
Right.
you get sidetracked by those things because you think it's supposed to go this way,
Right.
but you may go zigzag, but you still end up getting to where you're supposed to be.
But I think that's one of the greatest things about change in general. Like, I think it's truly a blessing, and I'm so grateful to God that I was able to meet you ladies when I did, because although I'm younger than you guys,
Okay.
significantly younger than you guys.
Really?
I'm just saying, I wouldn't throw it out there. I honestly truly believe that, like, the experience that I'm just saying, I'm bringing it back around to a good thing. Hold on.
Is it?
That
It's a good thing.
I
It's
feel
like
like
you're
I
always
met
young.
you all at a really good time in my life, because I feel like it brings me back to, like, growing up in an old school Baptist church where it was there's every test and trial that you go through is towards your testimony. You can't have a testimony without your test. So I feel like when those situations occur, it's like, now granted, you don't know why you're going through this thing with school. School could be something last thing on your mind. You just feel like you need to get it done. But I feel like because you are a good inspirational speaker, you speak to people. When you talk, people listen and are influenced by it. I feel like at some point in your life, you're going to be met by some young ear who doesn't have a village, doesn't have a good support system, doesn't have family on their side, that's going to hear your testimony and is going to resonate in their spirit and be like, oh shoot, I really can do this. Like, I really can step out on this leap of faith and go this other direction. And I think at that moment is when it sinks in, like, damn, that's what I went through that struggle for. That schooling wasn't for me. And so often we get caught up in our selfishness that we think that our life is supposed to be a certain way for us. But like, God is truly using you to bless somebody else. Right. So at some point you just got to sit back and take whatever comes your way and allow that blessing to then, like I said, be that testimony that's going to feed somebody else's spirit, because you're privileged enough to have people that say, we see the value in you. We know your talent. We know how you can grow. We see what you can do and push you towards greatness. The fact that you could possibly even just fathom of having to support somebody who doesn't have that alone is enough to say, December 19th, okay, I'm focused. Let's do this. December 19th? 2019.
Oh, 2019. I'm like, dang, you know the graduation. I wasn't sure. They didn't announce it yet, so I thought you knew something I didn't know I was going to put on my calendar.
It might be.
But thank you. I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying?
I just want to make sure I'm good. Because I wasn't going to come at first.
I mean, I know.
Right. Well,
but now you know the date.
You must talk about that graduation day a lot if your friends know.
Right.
Okay?
No. Let me tell you something.
We try to get our name in the fine print at the end of the day. Like, we in there. We all walking across stage.
Let me tell you something. We all.
Whole
But they say,
Miguel in the back. Like, she got you.
That's so funny.
I'm gonna be the one doing the task. I'm
crown
gonna like that.
Right.
There you go.
Boom. We made it.
That is so
No, we
funny.
did.
That's awesome, though.
So because at first I wasn't even thinking about like even going to graduation.
No, we're going.
We're going to graduation.
Don't even think about it. You're going.
I mean,
And when they say, please hold all applause, they will not.
Right, I know. You know black people.
That's the fun part in it.
I just want to like
Nobody
people
does
on
with the
stage.
slow clap.
Yeah.
Right. Just
Right.
when they like,
They
man.
call two more people names.
Right. Yeah.
They gonna think it's for them.
We made it.
Nah.
Yes.
I'm trying to tell you.
But that's why.
You talking
like,
about show off?
But that's the
now. Like,
look, I know.
it's
No,
a lady
that's
that's gonna show up and show their whole ass.
This
Like,
is why having a village is so.
That's what I was going to say. Your degrees for the village.
It is
okay?
for the village. I mean, they might cash
it's
it on.
it's a group effort.
I
It's a group
mean,
effort.
Let me see what she say. Oh, okay, so let's.
Oh, it was very
she-
interesting.
She's followed us since from day one. So let's
Aw.
read her. She said, "I'm about to head into an appointment. However, ladies, just know this the
Podcast
was very
interesting
and
and
tackled some good relevant topics. God bless you and keep us
Aw.
posted on your future."
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Leslie.
And then Jen Lyle says, I understand exactly what y'all are saying 100%.
Yeah, it's because it's like you get to a point where you need those people around you to let you know that you know what, girl, you tripping, girl, you whatever,
Absolutely.
we got you, kind of thing. Because if you and there's so many people who don't have that, like you brought that up, Kristen. Like it's a lot of people who don't have.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing, even family support.
Yeah.
Of what you're doing, but when you can tap into other sources
Yeah.
that may not necessarily be blood related,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing because everybody
Yeah.
doesn't get your journey.
Yeah. But I think back to what you were saying about wanting to stop. I had shared this with, I think I shared this with you, Christian, about when I was writing the book. There were moments where, as much as I wanted to write that book, I had moments where I was like, ain't nobody gonna read this book.
Right.
Like, who really wants to know
Right.
this story? And I just really doubted that, like, why am I actually doing this? Even though I felt like this needs to be out there. And I had a moment, last week I was doing a reading, and a woman came to the reading, and it was actually, it was on like intersectionality. So it's talking about like just, the different identities that we have, and sort of dealing with sort of how we move through the world with our different identities. And so I read a portion of the book, and then I opened it up for conversation. I said, does this resonate with anybody? just sort of talking about how we come to learn about our bodies, and not even really getting into sexual orientation per se, but just how we learn about our bodies, and opened it up for conversation. And there was a woman who, she started crying. And she said, I wasn't even exactly sure what this topic was about. I thought it was about something else. She was like, but she was like, I'm your mother. I was reading a portion about my mom. And she was like, I'm her. I'm dealing with a daughter right now who just left her husband because she's gay. And she was like, and I'm having a really hard time with it. She was like, I'm angry. She was like, I don't, and she like started telling her story, and she just started crying, and she just kept saying, she's like, I've talked to my daughter the exact same way. And like, it was a whole moment. And in that, I was like, I don't care how many books I sell. Like, it was, for me, it was about that. Yeah. Like, so if I have 20 people in a room every time I have a book reading and somebody resonates with what I'm saying.
Right.
That, like, for me, I was like, this is why I had to keep going.
Right.
This is why this is why I had to get the book out, even though I was feeling like, what is this? Like, what am I doing, really? But like, this is why. Right. So now she can go back, and like, she left that room changed that day. And I know that because she said it out loud. Yeah. Right. And now she can go and have a different conversation with her daughter. Yeah. Right. And like, they can work on, they can work on that. Yeah. And so just sort of thinking through like the journey, right? The process, right? That like, we getting through that, sort of knowing that you have the ability, the stamina to get through it, the perseverance, and that whatever it is that's burning inside of you, that you know this is meant to get out, right? And that's why I was saying to you, like, the conversations I've had with you, there is something inside of you in a creative way that's meant to get out.
That's
and so
I hate that I say something. You know,
I know, because you know, we keep our own flip charts. Like,
remember you said
remember you said this.
You know, but you're right. But that right there, having somebody to hold you accountable for, and I'm not talking about just the good things. Right. I'm talking about all of that. Because
that has happened too.
That
has happened too, where folks have been like,
I mean, like, that's a gift that you have. Like,
oh no, that's what she does.
Like,
remember you said
that right there.
And I'm like, when did I say that?
Don't even carry on.
But that's a good
touch on this.
Hold on, because you got her own flip chart. It's not even her phone; it's in her.
It is. It's up here.
Remember you said
it's a muscle. And I warn people when I start dating. People, I often warn people. You know, I actually have a really good memory.
Yeah.
Just letting you know, I don't, but I will remember. I'll remember things. And be like,
is that a part of the date?
Don't tell me unless you really want me to know.
This is what she says on the first date. I have a good memory.
I have good memory. Just want you to know.
So I'm not for the book.
Mental screenshots. Mental screenshots. But speaking to that, you pulled me up too on things, and like, you're gentle.
When was it gentle?
See, I appreciate.
But see, you.
Excuse me. I appreciate that you thought it was gentle.
No, because what I get is. Girl,
but see, that's how she feels about me. She feels like I give her the business.
I never get gentle from V. When y'all get gentle,
it's so interesting how we interact with each other.
But to me, it was gentle. When you said,
I never get gentle with her. Like, she straight go for the. Like, I came in thinking I was really cute one day. She was like, "Oh, you went to the gym this morning?" I was like, "Oh yeah, girl." She's like, "Yeah, cause your head in the back." I was like, "Wow, all of this." You know what? I was feeling good about my life.
But to me, it was gentle because it was one of those things
That's
where.
That's not gentle.
Well, no, not that. Oh. But what she said to me, I felt was gentle because it was like, so I thought we were done with this person.
Right.
We don't deal with all our friends the same. Y'all know that, right?
True.
It's you have a way. You know, I'm just saying you have a way. You have a way. We know how to deal with each friend, and it's different. Tori is not going to respond the way you do, Christian. It's different. You guys
That's true.
I get that, Gemini.
I'm just saying.
But you know, I have my moon is in Gemini, so it's probably.
I'm a little sensitive, and she doesn't care.
Yeah, because it's still going to roll off your back, though, and she knows that. Exactly.
She's like, why the hell you wear that to work today?
Right. We know how to get it. We get it, right? We get it.
Where you going?
Exactly.
Where you going?
I just trying to figure where you going today.
Yeah.
All I want to say is,
I felt good about myself this morning.
Right.
I said no.
A Gemini is going to give you honesty or nothing at all. I always say, people's like, I'm like, do you want me to tell you the truth, or I'd rather be quiet? It's
I just
can't.
But sometimes
But see, we're passionate about our friends.
We
though.
are.
I'm honest in the sense of it always, and y'all have to admit this. It
Okay,
always comes from a loving
A
place.
place of love.
It
That is
always
so
comes
true.
from a place of
I
love.
agree.
Like I never come to you guys on some hateful, hurtful. Like
That's
I can't
true.
believe you just said that to me.
Right.
It always comes because what I'm going to tell you is what people are going to say behind your back and never say to your face.
And I
what
think
you
that's
won't
why
do
I
about
said it
my
was
friend
gentle.
is check my friend before I
Exactly.
check my friend. You
I
can't
agree.
do that. Like family or friend. Like no, you
Yeah.
cannot talk back. I don't care if her wig is shifted,
Right.
and her eyeliner is crooked.
Right.
That's my friend.
You be
You're
like,
not
look,
gonna
I
do
already
that.
told her that.
I
You
already
don't need to.
So mind your business. We got this.
No, we're not saying we don't appreciate it. I get it. I do. I'm just saying it ain't gotta be first thing.
I'm just. Look,
I just walked in the
gotta
door.
catch you before anybody else do. Like,
No. But what I will say about Gemini is that sometimes you don't assess the vibe.
we don't. I'm sorry.
You just go in. You don't.
No,
as-
this is true.
Right.
That is
As
true.
Sagittarius, we
We
assess
assess.
the vibe. We see what
Yeah.
things are at. You see how they come in, walk in. They're not quite where they need to be. So we
But
assess.
I've gotten better with that. I'm like, you good?
No,
Are
you
you
don't.
okay?
No, you don't.
Good, cause your wig is shifted.
See what I'm saying?
But we only do that with familiars.
No, I-
if
no,
we're
I-
in
I
a,
get
if
it.
right, if we're
No,
in an
Nikki,
environment
I-
we're unfamiliar with,
I
we're
think
as
I have
quiet.
gotten
We are
better.
so quiet. It's just like, what is
No,
everybody
I know
doing?
that quiet.
It's like,
so
what?
funny. Like, oh, it's Kristen Shaw.
She
Like,
Right? No.
I literally thought I was a people person. Like I'm going to
I'm like,
things
you're
like
not a people
I'm such a
person.
people person. Like I talk to people. Like
Right.
people love me, and she's like, no,
we are not.
You're not a
we are
people
not.
person.
We
You're
are
not.
Yeah, we're
I'm
not.
like,
If we're familiar, yes.
But I do. I
I
go
thought I
to
was.
work really quiet. Like let me feel the vibe.
Oh, no,
Exactly.
That's the only vibe you feel is for yourself.
Right.
I'm talking, you don't feel the other person's vibe.
No.
You worry about what's the vibe going on with
Right.
you.
Like, am I gonna be at 10 or am I gonna be
Right,
at 6?
exactly. How black do I have to get?
Right.
That is so true. I never realized that until now.
I'm
You're
black.
right.
They have to be Michelle
Yeah,
Obama
yeah,
black.
I gotta be Michelle Obama
Right.
black.
That's
Or I gotta be Amanda Seales.
Right.
What is it?
so true.
Nah,
That is
but
so
but
true.
that's-
That is
but-
so
but
true.
that's the part was that's what I like about the group is that we can fill each other out and kind of we know each other very well.
Yeah.
And this is really a short. I mean, it's been some time, but I feel like short in terms of friendship wise.
Like 7 years.
No, but that to me, that's like, I mean, that's a long time, years. Why I get that part, but I'm saying of really getting to know somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can know somebody and not
Yeah.
really know.
But we
somebody.
all clicked.
We did.
I mean, we really clicked
But it
pretty
was a
quickly.
7 years, but it wasn't like 7 years. We were like best girlfriends
Right.
in the first year.
It's
So
right.
was like,
Yeah.
It was a progression.
Yeah, but it was an easy progression.
Yeah.
because
And
we just had
everybody connected
differently. But I think Kristen was the catalyst for
She
bringing
was
a lot
all
of
of
us.
it.
I bring people together. Listen,
You do.
It's
You
what the
bring people
Geminis
together.
do. It's like I feel your energy and I feel like
Yeah,
her
yeah,
energy.
yeah.
Energy. No.
Energies and-
Because there was some energies that was off.
And listen, and we had to do what we had
Some
to
were
do.
off. But you were the catalyst.
I can admit when I was wrong. Moving on.
Right. But no,
Yeah.
but I appreciate that. And I think
Yeah.
that's why we always, from the beginning, just always talked about having
Yeah.
a village, making sure you had a village.
Yeah.
Because it's so key in your growth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do
Absolutely.
you grow without having those people? Like,
I don't know.
I just don't know how you do it.
I
Like,
really
you
don't.
gotta have that girlfriend. You gotta have your girlfriends around, and everybody serves a different
purpose. Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's some conversations
Absolutely.
that
Oh my
it's so
goodness.
funny. Because let me tell y'all, often I always felt left out because they always wanted. You know what I'm saying? I just feel because I'm not. You got to know your role in the group. I'm not the one. All my friends, everybody will tell you, I'm not the friend.
So we all have those friends that's like your ratchet friend. You know what I'm saying? That like if I
When
need
it
to
go
call
down.
somebody and be
Right.
like, hey girl, we
I got
had
a
fun.
body.
We had fun last night.
right?
She gonna be like, yeah, girl, this was a great time.
Don't call me with that.
We always got that one friend that's like, I need you to bail me out
Yeah.
today. And she gonna come through. We got the one friend that's like, I really just need you to pray for me. Like, I've been going through some things in my life. And then we got the one friend that's like, hey girl, you wanna go to happy hour? Let's go have a drink and socialize. And like everybody plays
Everybody
a
got a
part.
role.
So when you have certain friends that aren't privy to certain parts of your life, you wanna protect them and keep them in like this cute little.
But I don't know why I need to protect it.
And this-
That's my only thing. I was
But-
protected, and I didn't
but-
know I needed
but-
to protect it.
You
Watch
talk-
me rap
you-
it. Do you see how I'm rapping it? This is
But
what he
we,
was like.
you keep talking about this period of time. where
I
you
know.
felt.
I felt out of the loop. I was out.
And damn it if that wasn't a great
Why
time.
did you
It was a
feel,
good
why
time.
did you feel like that? What
I
happened?
felt like I was on the outside because see, I didn't 75 and I don't know what's
It was a great time. I'm just saying.
I felt out of the loop because there was a lot of I wasn't brought like things happened
It was
in like
like-
But you didn't
2016.
need
Hold
to
on, let
be.
me talk, sis. Let me talk. Things
Let
happened
us say
between
it.
2016, 17, and I didn't find out about 2019, like 18, late 18.
She didn't need to be.
And everybody was like, "Oh, remember that?" When I was like, "No, I don't remember." Oh, cause then remember, and I was like, "No, I didn't." And they was
Wait,
like,
so why did you all feel like she didn't need to be privy to this information?
"Thank you, Nikki."
I'm just asking.
Because
I'm
she didn't.
curious. That's not an
To
answer.
keep everybody safe in the live tonight, we just gonna say she didn't.
Oh, okay.
And so my thing was,
It was a
Said
lot of-
safe
it was
and
a lot-
alive tonight.
It was a lot of single activity taking place that
It
not.
was a lot of life transitions.
It was a lot of life transitions. It was a lot of single activity that
She didn't need to be privy to.
Well, they were
married
protecting
people
you. Is
just
that
didn't
what-
need to be involved in.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh.
Wait, wait a minute.
No, it's not.
Don't
it's
ask
not-
questions. See, this is
No.
what I
And,
was saying.
I'm gonna ask these questions
a lot of
later.
a lot of the stuff that was going on was sort of like, to Kristen's point, was like you needed people who were going to be able to know the codes and act quickly
So
accordingly.
she couldn't relate.
Well, it wasn't even like so.
No, it's not that I
it
can't
was
relate,
even-
but I'm not the.
She's
I
not
have
the person
questions.
where you can't call her
I have
at
questions.
8:30 and
It
be
was-
like, I need da 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 da.
No,
You
no,
might
no.
not get her.
It was even
I need
like
to build up.
Okay.
You, she's
Yeah.
gonna be like, "What's
Well,
going on?
okay.
What's the plan?"
She got
We
you
needed
in
people.
question.
I do
We
have
needed.
It's like,
we needed.
ma'am, I don't need. Is your boot strapped and laced? Like, we got shit to do.
It was
like,
a time-
You asking me questions.
It
Yeah,
was
I'm that person.
it was a time
Let's
where
go.
you just
But
needed
I-
people who were accessible and like.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not accessible.
Well,
people
see, you
who
have to accept
understood.
your truth, though,
No, I accepted that.
and just
but-
be like, okay.
But Nikki, you know what it is? It's not that I didn't accept the truth. It was one of the I kind of felt like, to me, like on the outside. And
Yeah.
so it wasn't necessarily that it was any. Hold on, let me talk. No need to raise your hand. It wasn't that I just felt like I wasn't in the circle
Right.
at that time, and so that kind of made me feel away. I mean, I
But-
told them,
but
But I have
What
a
was
question.
interesting, though, is
Did
that-
you feel that way in the process though? Because I feel like
Oh,
we
yeah.
were very.
Oh, yeah, it was a
Damn,
lot of
'cause
stuff.
I felt like we were very good.
No,
wait,
y'all
wait.
weren't.
Let
I'm
me
very
let me tell
observant.
you the point though. The point is
So very,
in
very, very-
2019ish, 18ish, when we finally brought you into it, you was like, oh shit, I didn't know. And we was like, awesome.
No.
You weren't supposed
No,
to.
I didn't know, but I knew there was something.
Something.
And so what I was saying to you
Okay.
all, that the reason why, see, it's one, if I would have never brought this up, it wouldn't be nothing to talk about. You see what I mean?
Right.
So you know what I
Right.
was feeling away.
Yeah.
Right.
I felt on
Right.
the outside because there was a lot of things going on that I just wasn't privy to.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's one thing, it's like we all have side conversations with each other because based on
But this
whatever
was like a
reason.
movement.
But this was a whole
This was a movement.
Definitely was a movement.
It was a
Lives
movement.
was changing and transitioning,
Wow.
and I was going through life thinking like,
It was like your drunk friend.
So-
she came into the club sober, and we were all like,
So this was a monumental moment,
there
and
was
you weren't
nothing going
included.
on, and I just didn't know. And I'm trying to figure out why am I the designated driver and not an accident. That's all I'm saying.
No, you was trying to figure out
to be.
when did y'all have drinks and why was I not privy to
But
it?
why am I being called to pick them up?
Right.
I didn't know
okay.
y'all was out.
I didn't
Right.
know. But I mean, like I said, Nikki, I would be the first to admit I'm not the one that you call at the drop. I'm not that drop
not.
down person.
She is
Let
not.
me really call you real quick because first of all, I gotta answer. I gotta answer the phone. You know, I
She's
get to
not.
bed. I get into bed early.
8:30.
And then when people go talking about, you know what, I killed somebody, it's like, whoa, what happened?
And during that
Who?
period, and
Who
during
was
that
it?
Is
period
it gonna
of
mess up my
time,
nails?
Is it gonna make,
What is
I
the?
mean,
Oh,
and
yeah,
during
you're
that,
not- yeah, they-
and
yeah, I would
during that
call you
period
the-
of
I'm sorry.
time, a lot of us,
moving parts.
it was a lot of moving parts. And people needed to be at the ready. You needed to be at the ready.
Like
There
I
was
said,
no
I
time.
admit I'm not the at the ready person.
You needed to
But
be at the ready.
I'm the person that you can call
After the fact.
after the
Yeah.
fact, and
Like,
then
girl,
talk.
let me tell you what happened. And you be like, what?
And she
I-
won't tell you where you messed up. She be like, well, you know you messed up.
Right. You know you was wrong for
You
that.
know what?
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's
Okay.
so that's what happened. So what I'm saying.
Right.
So I really brought that up that sometimes there's things that happen within a circle of friends. That, you know, I think, and I brought it to them.
You
I was
did.
Like, hey, what's going on here? Why am I not, you know?
You did.
But it wasn't, and it did make me feel away. And
No.
and I understood after we
Why?
talked through it.
You
But I
just
think
didn't
that
know.
when you're in the midst of it,
Absolutely.
it,
Don't understand.
it makes a
Right.
certain appearance.
Right.
And so then you have to be careful that when you have that circle of friends, that, you know, because one of the things we talked about, even I don't know if y'all remember when we had the first conversation about even the podcast, that we wanted to make sure that everything dealing with the podcast, that we didn't have side conversations about the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, and that why that was important is because people should always be in a loop. I'm not talking about the personal life stuff. I'm just saying, like, in general.
Yeah.
If there's something going on, we have to address it as a group.
Yeah.
Because that could cause other. When you start having side conversations and then people have nothing, oh yeah, because me. So when you come to talk to the person,
right?
So me and so and so.
Translation is everything.
Like, wait a minute, y'all had a side conversation,
Right.
and then, so we wanted to make sure those kind of things,
Didn't
didn't interfere with, because it was a friendship first, and then the podcast, and then the show.
Okay.
And so it's like things like that. But we laugh about it now. But I was like, So when I come on and see them, it was almost like they don't think they were doing it, but it was
like what was happening?
Really?
I didn't know.
It
I
wasn't that, but that's how
about
it
it
came.
though.
Because
Really?
Nikki, if you in a place, hear me out. If you
I thought we
somewhere
were.
and then they say, "Oh yeah, girl," because remember this so you like, and then you come in like, "Oh, what y'all talking about?"
We did that? We did
you
that?
didn't maybe, but yeah, you probably
You
didn't
felt
do
that.
it, but it felt that was the
Really?
energy.
Because
Really?
the whole feeling for us was like, don't bring this shit
See?
to Krishna fucking up this good situation that we in. Like,
I
she is
never-
good, and
and
we will not drag her down into our
Yeah,
foolishness.
it was foolishness.
Leave her alone.
It was
Not leave her
foolishness.
alone.
Yes, let her.
And
be
here I'm
great.
all, I want to be brought in. No, I need to be brought in.
We didn't want to
to the
disrupt
home.
your happy home, so
Oh yeah.
Nah.
Sometimes you have to leave people out of situations.
Yeah.
it was
Situationships
Right.
should not always involve everyone.
It was
Listen.
like,
Yeah,
but in the end,
in the end,
But hold on,
so
Nikki.
funny.
But then what you don't want is somebody to bring you up to speed in 45 minutes.
Well, that's true. Y'all left out the good parts. If it was only 45 minutes.
It was everything. Cause I said, I'm sorry, wait a minute.
right?
Back up.
Yeah.
So then when someone and then
Right.
what happened, I'm like, hold on.
She was overwhelmed for like a
I
whole
was
week and a half.
overwhelmed.
She was like, "What?"
So what's going on? That's me. That's my mother. What's going on?
So by the end, you were
By
kind
the
of,
end,
were you
I was
glad
like,
that you
what?
weren't
I was
involved?
glad I wasn't involved.
Now she all caught up,
I'm caught up.
and she really don't want to be.
I don't want to be.
See?
So now when I'm brought in, I'm like,
You know what?
do I need to know this?
I can't. I cannot. Review.
That was a time, boy. That was
Right.
You're like, maybe y'all shouldn't have told me.
Wait, now she's gotten to the point where she was like, I don't want to know.
Right. This don't.
Carry on.
Just stop. Just stop.
Just stop.
But I feel like that's the beauty of relationships. Like, to be able to hash out, talk through, the challenges and all that. Because there's certain things that, I don't think I told y'all this about, like, the whole thing about being your husband's or just about your partner's best friend. And I was like, somebody had said that to me one time, like, oh yeah, my husband's my best friend. And I was like, why? I said the same thing, but everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. I'm like, I don't know about best friend. Like, do I like my husband as a friend? Yes, I like him. I love him. I'm in love with him. But I'm like, I don't know about necessarily when you call somebody your best friend. To me means something different. So it was like a whole thing, and I was like feeling like away because I was looked at like, why wouldn't you? When you marry your best friend, wouldn't you be? And I'm like, I guess when I think of best friend, it's the things that I share with my best friend. There's certain things I share with my husband that are about husband stuff and marriage stuff and things that going on with me that affect the marriage, but not necessarily some other things that I made. I don't know. So I was like, so my point is
that makes perfect sense, because I feel like your best friend is who you go to process your feelings. Like, and it's not about keeping a secret. It's not about being, secret of anything like that. It's like, I tell the two of you that often, like, I'm coming to you because as this is like big sis moment. Like, check me if I'm wrong.
Right.
Tell me if I'm thinking about this the correct way. And I need you to be able to do that. My husband could never do that to me.
Yeah.
But see, that's
the
different though.
automatic.
Some people have relationships with their spouses
Right.
that they talk about everything.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I
don't know if it's right or wrong. I just think it's how your relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some people do. I mean, if they grew up together and they have been, their culture is to talk about everything.
No.
Some people have been married. I mean, this is rare. No, that's you.
Okay.
So there are people that actually do that, and we just have to
No, they
accept
are.
that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like she was saying.
I
That
mean,
my
if
husband
they've
is
been
my
married
best
since
friend.
they were like 25, what else do they know? Or 21 or 20, like young.
But you know what I took it
Speaking
as?
as the one who that is
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
I
what
said
you talked
sometimes.
About. No, I'm just saying, but speaking, and I think that's just a very misconception that people have. Like, you to have that outside friend that you can confide in, that won't judge you and that can hear you and just be completely transparent and say, friend,
Yeah.
You need to
You're
relook
right.
at some things, like because to be honest, you're already it's biased because that's your husband or
Yeah,
your wife.
I think it's gonna
That
be-
it's automatically I'm going to tell you what I think is good for you, but I'm also going to tell
What's
you what's good
for
for
me.
you, basically
Yeah.
based on our
Exactly.
relationship.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really going to 100% tell you something that's going to be at the detriment of our relationship if I don't want our relationship to end.
Oh yeah, that's
If
that's
that
Yeah.
makes any sense. So I need a
But
friend to say.
there are couples that
No, I
don't
know.
think like
And
that.
I-
They be like,
I'm
dang,
just-
he said that. You
I just don't think
trust-
that's healthy.
Yeah.
I don't think that
That's
you
how
need
I-
an
I-
outside.
yeah,
I'm just saying,
I
like,
agree.
so that's what I'm trying to figure out. I guess it depends on how you define best friend.
Right, I was about to
Yeah,
say.
that's true.
You
too.
know, because if
And if you think you can only have one,
yes, that's
Oh.
another.
because
that's
if you can
another
have
thing.
you can
That's
have
true.
multiple.
You can
I think you can have
friends.
multiple best friends.
Oh, you definitely have multiple best friends.
Yeah.
But I think that so I guess when she said that, it just made me think like,
Yeah,
well, wait a minute,
how are you
who do
defining?
because my husband is not that's not the go-to in terms of things that I'm dealing with as a woman. As things that I'm dealing
Yeah.
with, like just
Right.
being a mom,
Right.
being all of these things
Right.
sometimes.
That's
I'm not
true.
saying I can share those things with him, but I think again,
But you're not gonna
where he's
get-
going to be thinking in the context of a marriage.
Right.
And how this affects him.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that, you
Yeah.
know
Or
what?
even just as
I
a
think-
role of a husband, like how do I protect you
Right.
from this?
Yeah.
How do I
You know
Right,
what
how do I
mean?
fix
So
this?
sometimes
how do I
it's
fix
not
right? And
always
sometimes
how do I
it's not that.
fix
It's
it?
like let me be independent and figure this out on my own.
Yeah.
But I think it's
I
a
just want you to
knee-jerk
listen.
I just need the
reaction,
space.
even
Yeah.
as like a parent, that when your child comes to you with certain things, you want to jump in and fix, and it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you gotta fall back
Right.
and allow
Right.
them to filter through this
Right.
life the way they
Yeah.
need to.
And
Yeah.
that's why I was kind of like, wait a minute. But
Yeah.
that's to me why you need the village.
Yeah.
Because I just don't
Absolutely.
think that. I know some women who their spouse is it, the end all be
Yeah.
all, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because even if Michelle Obama said, "You gotta have your girls,"
Yeah, no, and I think particularly
Just saying.
in same sex relationships, like that's a thing,
Oh, okay.
right? And so I was talking to someone about that recently, about how I was saying, I was like, I have to, like, whoever I'm with has to have friends.
Yeah.
I was like, because I need for them to go to their friends to talk about us.
Right.
I need that. Like
Yeah.
I can't be your everything.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times
Hold
in
on, pause.
Hold on.
Say that last part again.
I can't be your
Yeah, we need to
everything.
get on this
You
mic.
have to.
It's on. All of them are on.
Yeah, you can't be my everything. I need for you to have friends. I need for you to have someone that go hang out with sometimes. Someone to just talk
Yeah.
to, get so that you could get your
Talk
check.
about you.
Yeah, go tell them, hey, this is what we're going through. What do you
Right.
think? Blah blah blah. But I think in same sex relationships, a lot of times you do find
feel
that
like your limits.
that
Yeah.
women will attach, and like you're
And
my
your
best
friends
friend.
become, and then do your friends become my friends?
And sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
sometimes I see it happen where now my friends are your friends, and now
Yeah.
we're all entangled. So then if something goes wrong, now we got to sort through whose
Right,
friends
who
are
friends is who,
whose.
right.
And it's like, no, you can,
Yeah,
right?
right.
You can have,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
have
thing.
to be your everything. You can have outside friends. You should have outside
have
friends.
outside.
Just because we're women doesn't mean we need to be everything.
Yeah. And
Right?
it's
But you
circle.
can still be my best friend, and I can have my best friends who were here before you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think like that becomes an issue.
And I think that's really what it is. Like, how do you define, the best friend? You know, what does that really represent? Because there's certain things that I share with my husband that I only share with him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then, but then there's things that I talk to my girlfriend because you need that girl.
That's right.
What is this about? What is,
That's right.
whatever. And then there's certain things you only talk to your married friends
Yeah,
about.
I'm suspicious of people who don't have friends.
I am very suspicious. That
You
and
should be.
and short sleeve dress shirts. I don't trust it.
What? Okay.
I'm just saying. I look at them differently.
Nikki, don't get her started.
You know
I'm not
Now
saying
you know
anything.
I'm telling the truth. You don't
I'm
trust
not.
it.
But what's their way of blazing?
No. Because when you take the jacket off, you
Because
gonna get hot.
that texture, that feeling, when
You're
your
angry.
laser material was rubbing up
you
against.
said-
All right, I'm done.
You said don't get involved.
Yeah.
But some guys
Don't get involved.
guys like that. If a guy's
I'm sorry, what now?
If a guy's a hot natured guy,
Sorry,
he's
you
gonna
Then you roll the
wear.
sleeves up.
Yeah, so
Why
I
can't you
used
cuff
to-
your sleeves?
You gotta cover
I
the
used to
sleeves.
Kristen.
wear-
All right, I'm done.
Hold on. A short sleeve what?
A short sleeve dress shirt.
Oh
With
no!
Wait.
I
with
expect more
a,
from you.
With a what's it called?
A vest?
A sweater vest that was sleeveless.
Oh
In the
Diamond!
90s.
I expect-
It
Oh,
was
it was the 90s.
It was in the 90s.
You get a pass. It was the 90s.
no! Hold on. So you had
Sweater vest.
With a short
that was
sleeve.
saying but short sleeve.
Okay, so sleeve, no sleeve.
Did you have a towel with
Yeah,
it? 'Cause if you
and
had
a
a towel
tie.
without walking away.
A
yeah.
towel or bow tie.
I'm about to say, because we about to end the show right now.
Right?
Just,
No,
a
we're
tie
done.
or bow
No
tie.
tie. That was my dress down one.
I'm so glad, but that's what I'm saying. It's too short. That's what I'm saying. It's
No,
short
so
and it's
this-
short.
The sweater was.
That's what I'm
Yeah, we
saying.
know. We know. We have the
So
visual.
you gotta do like this sometimes.
See?
All right, so this has been.
So,
I need you to
anyway.
close us out. Close us out on that note.
My
We're
point
done.
exactly. Anyway,
No,
so.
because y'all fronting right now.
Yes, Jennifer even said short sleeve dress shirt,
It's
Bill
not
Diamond.
saying it's a
Short
no-go.
sleeve dress
It was in
shirt.
the 90s.
I don't care.
I don't think
What are you, a science teacher? No.
He know good and well he had that on yesterday.
Stop
Playing with you.
It
But
was,
was that a look in the
it was not a look.
Because the preppy look, but even but no,
It was a
because
long sleeve.
was it long
No,
sleeve
it
with
was
the roll up?
But it was a long sleeve.
I had both.
Why would
So
you
it
get
was
the other
roll.
one?
He didn't have that day. He didn't have the long
So
sleeve
you
that
was
day. It was
wearing
in the
the sweater
wash.
vest in the summer?
Well, spring.
You know, like boys to men with the
Spring.
preppy
It was
look with the
that
shorts.
look.
It was that boys to men look. It was the boys to men look.
Who said that was right?
Well, I'm just saying, it was the look
And you had the hat.
in the '90s. Yeah.
Thank you, Mackenzie.
I knew he was gonna say he had a hat. You had a walking stick.
You had a Kango.
You had a walking stick. You had a walking stick.
You had a Kango tilted to the side with it.
They had the whole outfit.
Oh
No,
no,
Diamond, I'm
Diamond.
just saying something.
That was a look. No, that was a
A
look.
picture for the next show.
That was a look.
I need a picture.
No, we definitely need a
Nikki,
picture.
It already had
That
that
was
was, you need that picture.
that was totally a 1994
No, it was
look.
a 90s look.
And the glasses.
Look,
I
you
want
got
that
the
picture.
The glasses.
No, the glasses. I get that. I'm just saying the long. It's something about short sleeve. It just says to
You
me.
can't do it now.
No,
You do it.
no.
In the 90s,
Stop. And
yes.
then I hope it was 90, not 90s. With an
Right? That was totally a boys to
It
men
was
look.
January the 90s.
January 1st,
Now that song will be stuck
1990.
in my head for the rest of the
Exactly,
day.
boys and men.
Yes.
Motown Philly.
Yes, most times.
So anyway, so we gotta end, y'all. Y'all so crazy. But anyway, thank you. So we had one more show, one more episode,
One more from
right?
here.
Yes.
From April. Yeah. So we'll be
That's
ending
it.
in April, and that's it, you all.
Yes, please call in for the next show.
Yes, we want to have fun on the last show. Yes. All right. Hey, Harold. Anyway. So,
Hi, Harold.
Anyway, so thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
All right. Hey, Emily. Good night.
Good night. See y'all.